You're not stuck, you're misaligned is very near and dear to my heart. Less than 5% of you are actually living in alignment, and it may be the reason why you're feeling the way that you are. There's some small shifts that you could make in your life that could make a huge impact that will increase your peace, your joy, your happiness, and your success. You upgrade your identity, you upgrade everything. True self-awareness is when you let somebody from the outside take a look into. Your intuition is always right. You are going to be unstoppable by the time you're done with this. When we look at the back end of all the systems, the vast majority of those that listen to this podcast aren't yet subscribed. It would mean the world to me if you could subscribe today. That allows us to reach more people, the podcast grows, in turn allowing us to bring even bigger guests to you. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kristy Kuhl. And this topic, you're not stuck, you're misaligned, is very near and dear to my heart. It is my greatest work. And it all started because I was misaligned myself, and I had no idea that that was even a thing. I just thought that I needed to get better. And if you're watching this, you're an ambitious person who's committed to your own personal growth as well. And you want to get better too. And I do need to get better. I always need to get better. But there's certain places in life that there's not a whole lot you can do. You just need to get in alignment before things actually get better. And so I put together a presentation for you. I've had a lot of conversations. I've done a ton of research, and I have been asking questions of my coaching clients. And I am 100% certain that less than 5% of you are actually living in alignment. And it may be the reason why you're feeling the way that you are. You know, oftentimes it feels a lot bigger than it really is. I will say that when people come to me and they'll use language like, I feel trapped, I feel stuck, I feel restless, it really is because there's so much energy inside that's not directed in the place that you really want it to be directed. And whether you know it or not, sometimes we know it and we're just afraid to say it out loud because then we have to step into it. And other times we really have no idea that we're out of alignment. I grew up in a one-stoplight town in Ohio, and I was chasing financial freedom. And I got financial freedom. I spent 15 years, I landed in the medical device industry. I climbed to the top of the food chain, and I represented some of the most disruptive technologies in the world, things like the Da Vinci robot and 3D mammography. And no matter where I was in my career, no matter if I was a sales rep or I was leading a team of sales reps across the entire country, something always felt a little bit off, and I couldn't quite put words to it. I just knew that something felt off. I had no idea the impact that I was going to make until I decided that I had had enough of feeling this way and I was going to see what else was out there. And I left to figure it out, and I landed in coaching, which is my greatest gift. And everybody had said it for the longest time. And I knew that I was great at leading and developing people. I just had no idea that this world of personal development existed and that life coaches and business coaches were a thing. And so I left a career making over $400,000 a year to step out on the path. And as they say, the path becomes clear. Now, if you're watching this, please don't think that I'm going to make you leave your career. That may not be the fix for you. Probably isn't the fix for you. It may be. Only you know the answer to that. There's many places where we can be out of alignment. And I want to walk through those with you in this presentation, because the reality of it is there's some small shifts that you could make in your life that could make a huge impact that will increase your peace, your joy, your happiness, and your success. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. One of the first places that you can be out of alignment is that your values and your daily actions don't match up. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know, this definition of values that I'm using for this presentation is a pretty broad stroke. And what I mean by values here are the things that are really important to you. So if you say that health is really important to you, but we audit your calendar and what you've done over the past month, and you're not showing up for your health, you're not eating healthy, you're not sleeping, you're not getting your workouts, then that is a misalignment in what's important to you versus actually what it is that you're doing. So what does your schedule reflect? Signs that you're out of alignment with your values versus your daily actions could be that you're really busy. You're really, really busy, but you're never feeling fulfilled. And that was a sign for me. Incredibly busy, incredibly successful, but there was just this feeling like my heart wasn't full. There was still something that was missing. I didn't know what fulfillment meant. And when I was put through an exercise to define fulfillment, I had to Google truly what fulfillment meant. But once I realized what fulfillment was, I realized that in order to feel fulfilled, I want to be where my feet are. I want to be 100% present with the person that's in front of me. I don't want to be thinking about work when I am with my family or thinking about family when I'm with work. I want to contribute to the causes that are really important to me: animal rescue, veteran affairs. If you feel like you're letting yourself down, you may be out of alignment. If you feel like you're exhausted from doing the things that you don't really want to do, your values and your daily actions may be conflicting. If you keep saying, someday I'll slow down, or next month I'll focus on myself, you may be out of alignment. And the first place that I would encourage you to go to get back into alignment would be your calendar. I want you to take a look and audit, and maybe not everything's on your calendar. Just reflect over the past 2 weeks. How many hours did you spend on the things that are actually important to you? If you said health was important to you, how many times did you work out? If you said working out was important to you, how many times did you actually work out? What did your diet look like? If you said building that side hustle was really important to you, how many hours did you spend on it? That will be a clear indicator if your values and your daily actions are in alignment and if they're not in alignment. And a quick fix for that is to carve off time and commit to yourself that you're going to do whatever it is towards that value when that time is blocked off. Another area I see a lot of people out of alignment is their vision and their environment do not match up. And what do I mean by this? Well, you have these goals and you see a future that's exciting when you think about it. But when you show up every day in your space, in your house, in your apartment, wherever you are, around the people that you are with on a daily basis, you feel like you're out of alignment. Your house is cluttered. You don't have a clear space to work in. You feel overwhelmed. The people that you're around don't see your vision. They think you're crazy for wanting to leave corporate America, or they think you're crazy for wanting to climb even higher within corporate America, or whatever it is that you want to do. They just can't quite seem to wrap their head around it. And so you feel like you can't show up and be yourself when you're around them. You keep trying to change, but you slip back into your old habits. You're the most motivated person in your circle. It's a big sign that your environment is out of alignment. So if you feel like any of this resonates with you, the first step to get into alignment would be to start to curate it to a place where you can work and you can think and you can envision what it is that you want for your future. Does your environment match a space where you can show up to your future routines? Is it cluttered? Can you remove the distractions? Can you start to spend time with people that feel like they are in alignment with you? I will say, when I went through a divorce 10 years ago, I had a little, I would say, wild stint. And I had a boat on Lake Norman, and I was a little bit more carefree, and I was partying a little bit more than I had ever done in my life. And I had heard the phrase for the very first time that you become the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. And I thought, oh, goodness, I need to do some cleaning up. And I did some cleaning up and I made some changes right away. That's the thing about me, is once I see, I can't unsee. And I made some changes right away on what I needed to do differently, which meant that I didn't have anybody to hang out with. And now I'm really lonely, and it was not really a time to be isolating when I'm going through divorce and I'm feeling sad as it is. But the cool thing about it was I had access to audiobooks and to podcasts, right? And to YouTube. And so all these people that I don't even know today kind of became my friends because I was infusing their information, their opinions, their knowledge, their spirit, their energy. It was infused around me all the time. So if you feel like you don't have the right people in your environment, or they're bringing you down, remember that you can always pop some earbuds in. You can and you can go for a walk, or you can be in the same space as them, and you can keep yourself very, very clear and focused and positive on what it is that you're working towards. You may feel that your purpose and your profession are out of alignment. If you feel like your purpose and your profession are out of alignment, you may feel like you're climbing the wrong mountain. And this happened to me, and I was so conflicted because I thought, man, I am working for some of the most prestigious companies in the world. I'm changing lives. I'm saving lives. I'm developing people. Why do I still feel like there's something deeper out there for me? I had no idea that this other life existed for me. But I will say that the things that were glaringly obvious, and it may be for you, that helped me realize that I was not living in my purpose, although I thought I was, every single day, was that the Sunday scaries hit me really hard. Even, things seemed fine. There was nothing like that I didn't want to show up for at work. There wasn't a boss or a coworker or anything like that was monumental, that was causing stress. Is just that Saturday was a great day because I came off a week and I had a cushion of one day going into the next week. But Sundays, man, it just felt really heavy. You're successful on the outside, but you feel stuck on the inside. Again, I was making a lot of money and I could have had any job in the field that I wanted. So on paper, I had it all. And when I told certain people that just couldn't quite get it, they made me feel like I was crazy. I started to think that I was crazy until I got back all by myself and connected to my instincts. And I would fantasize about quitting or pivoting or starting over. But I had no idea how. I'm like, how in the world would I start over and build something that was this successful? Let me tell you, my friends, it can be done. And it can be done really, really fast. I would ask myself, is this really all that there is? I thought that the stress and that lifestyle of planes, trains, and automobiles came with that type of money. And it's just not true. So if you find yourself feeling any of those feelings, the first step to get in alignment will be to do a little bit of journaling and some visioning. I want you to dream about if money was not an option, if fear was not an option, if you didn't care what people thought, how would you spend your time? How would you spend your days? A lot of people see how fast I've gone in the past 12 months. And I will tell you, there's a couple of reasons for that. I feel like I'm 44 and I feel like I'm running out of time. Now, time is not promised to us. And I hope that I have at least another 44 more years to impact as many people as possible. But we just don't know. I interviewed a death doula on my podcast about a year ago. And I asked her, she had been on the journey with over 1,000 people. And I had asked her, is there anything that you saw that was consistent with every single person that was making the transition? She said, oh my gosh, everyone. I said, well, what is it? She said, well, there was only 2 that were like really, really, really good deaths. And I'm like, what does a good death mean? And she said, all the rest had regrets. So imagine being there in bed, not being able to get out of bed, and they had regrets that they should have done this. They should have at least tried. And I said, why didn't they? And the number one reason why they never tried was the fear. It wasn't a failure. It was the fear of judgment, of what other people would think. So who's in your head? Who are you worried about possibly judging you? We got to let that go. Begin exploring the essence of your purpose, not the job title. You're here a little bit later. When you ask people to describe you or why they said yes or why they locked arms or whatever it is, it's amazing how much my energy is why people say yes and want to be around me. That is the essence of who I am. I make them believe in themselves. My energy is everything. And I believe that at any given period of time, I could be somebody's moment. That is the essence. Legacy is something that you leave in somebody. It's not something, in my opinion, that I leave behind. This house, this pile of money. I'm sure that's great. But if you can leave something in somebody. So what is the essence that you want people to feel when they are around you? And are they feeling it? Are you leading with that? Are you teaching with that? Are you creating with that essence? If you're feeling like you're off between your purpose and your profession, make some time and start to experiment. And this may be enough for you. And you may realize, like, you know what? I have this little creative outlet. I get to spend a few hours a week, and that's enough. I pay my bills with my job, and I don't want to leave it, but I get to do this other thing over here that's more in line with my purpose. And that may be enough for you. You may realize that you want to spend more hours doing that. And that may be the doorway that helps you step into an everyday, an everyday job, an everyday business that you start that is more aligned with your purpose. Your career should be an expression of who you are. Do you feel like there's another level to reach, but you haven't been able to unlock the combination? Do you feel like on paper you've reached success, but something still feels off inside of you? You might describe it as feeling stuck or restless. Do you find yourself wanting to make a big change somewhere in your life, but you're unsure what steps to take? and could also use some support in the process of moving gracefully in the direction your soul is calling you? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, my 12-week proprietary Unleash program may just be for you. If you'd like to learn more, head over to www.unleashwithkristy.com, answer a couple of questions, and book a discovery call with me. Keep rising, my friends. You are so much closer than you think. Now, this one is huge, and we're all conditioned. And so when I say that less than 5% of people are living in alignment, it starts young. The conditioning starts young. I can tell you the first time that I remember changing who I was for love and acceptance was 8 years old. But I knew to do that. I knew to change and shift in order to get the love and affection that I desired and not to be made fun of. So it was happening before that. And you know that you know. So you either aren't stepping into your purpose and going for it because you're afraid, or somebody told you that you shouldn't do that. Now, if I listen to my upbringing, everybody has a job. Everybody goes to work. People thought that I was crazy to leave. They were worried about me. They were worried like, oh my gosh, how's she going to have insurance? Is she going to pay her bills? Is she going to be okay? Right? I don't tell my family what it is that I'm up to because they're going to worry, and that I'm going to feel that. And now I'm going to worry too. I'm going to worry about them, or I'm going to spend more time making them feel comfortable. I know what is best for me, and you know what is best for you. Deep down, you know. So signs that you may be out of alignment with your intuition is that you're constantly asking others, what should you do? You know what you should do. You already know, but you're asking. And you may also be asking for permission, or looking for permission, or waiting for permission. Other signs are that maybe you don't want to disappoint certain people. Or maybe if your light shines bright, it'll dim theirs. Or they're going to feel a certain way, or they're going to treat you a certain way. I would encourage you to start listening to your body. When you think about that thing that it is that you want to do, is it expansive, right? Do you get excited? Do you have all these ideas? Do you want to start writing down what you do first and next and after that? Or do you contract? Do you feel small? Do you feel like you should shrink? Do you feel like, man, this would be really hard for me to show up for every single day? The answer is where the expansion is. Right? So start paying attention to your intuition. Where are you right? And where were you right in the past? Maybe it was about a person. The whole group is following this person, but you're like, man, something is off with them. And then you find out a couple years later what that one thing was that was off that you just couldn't wrap your hands around. You probably have multiple instances where you knew, but you didn't say anything, or you went with the masses too, or you listened to somebody else when you should have listened to yourself. Go back and take inventory, and also start to think about that and make some decisions consciously, and test out your intuition. What do you want to wear today and why? Well, how does it make you feel? What do you intuitively want to eat? Take a walk. Where are you going to wander to today? See what you find. Your intuition is always right if you listen to it. And lastly, identity versus behavior. This is a huge one. We are meant to evolve. We are meant to grow. If you aren't growing and evolving, it may be another reason why you feel stuck. You're out of alignment. You're trying to play small and shrink yourself in order to stay relatable to your friends and your family and your coworkers and the people around you, or to stay humble, right? You fear being too much. Please be too much. Please be too much. Please be different. To be the person that you're not is to waste the person that you are. You are so capable, but you may be procrastinating, and that's a sign that you're off here. You may be overthinking. You may be self-sabotaging. These are very common behaviors. We all do it. I do it. There's a reason why we all do it, though. We have to catch ourselves, and we got to break the loop. You can't stay stuck in a loop of doubt, perfectionism, or playing small. So if you start to feel that way, you need to get crystal clear on what your identity is now in this season of life. You evolved from the last one. It's okay. It's okay for them to say you've changed. I hope you've changed. It's okay to say that you're different, right? How does the future you move and speak? How does it feel? How do people respond to you? Start embodying that identity now in small little microwaves. In your habits, in your wardrobe, in your boundaries, in your language. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of the identity that we perceive ourselves to have. You upgrade your identity, you upgrade everything. This is a great slide for you to take a screenshot of. This is just a summary of everything that we've discussed so far, of the common areas, how to spot misalignment and what to do about it. What are the warning signals and what you can do right away? Questions you can ask yourself to start to pull yourself out or get a plan to pull yourself out of misalignment. And where do you go from here if you're recognizing that you are misaligned? If you stayed here this long, you signed up for this event, thank you for being here. I know you're feeling it somewhere. And I will say that it took me a long time to pinpoint it all. It's so much easier to see the movie in reverse. I left corporate America 6 years ago, and I just have gotten more truthful and more truthful and more truthful. And I continue to step into alignment. You know, a couple years ago, I left a small lake community in North Carolina because I just outgrew it. I didn't feel like going out anymore. I didn't feel like going on the lake anymore. I needed a new scene. I needed new energy. All right. I was out of alignment geographically. And so I moved into a 50-story high rise now in uptown Charlotte. So if you're feeling like you're off, take an assessment of yourself, a self-assessment. Where are you starting to feel friction? Where do things feel like you're happy and you're joyful and you're peaceful and you're excited? And where does it feel like you want to procrastinate or you want to make up an excuse? Where are you saying yes when you really mean no? And start to take small steps, some of the steps that we talked about here, to move yourself into alignment. I would really encourage you to seek support. Now, I'm a coach. You don't have to hire me. There's a lot of great coaches out there. I will say that when you seek guidance from the outside, you go faster. Right? We are 95% of everything we are doing is based off of our subconscious. And so we're getting up and we're repeating the same pattern over and over and over again, even though we want to change. True self-awareness is when you let somebody from the outside take a look into. Let them help you. You'll go a lot faster. And we don't know how much time we have left. The time to move is now. Now, I offer one-on-one coaching. I want to tell you about a program that I have called Unleashed. This is a signature program that I designed. This is everything that I walked myself through to go from living somebody else's definition of success to giving myself permission and stepping into and identifying success for this season of my life. And there's 3 critical phases to it. Now, I'm a high performance coach. I have a lot of systems on productivity and time management and getting things done and identifying your individual scorecard and showing up for that on all the days, especially the days that you don't feel like it. And that's what got me all my success in the medical device world. But I was missing peace, joy, and happiness. And so I'm going to teach you all of that stuff because it's going to help you just contract the amount of time that you're spending and go a lot faster and really zone in on the things that are important. But prior to doing that, you guessed it, I'm going to get you into alignment. We're going to spend 4 weeks on alignment because this is the piece that most people don't see. And this is the piece that you're expending all your energy on, showing up for things that you don't want to. You're going to learn stuff about yourself. I promise you that you don't know. And then you're going to learn some stuff that you're like, man, I knew that. But however, I was denying, I was shrinking, I was dumbing that down. You're going to have full permission to be yourself. But most importantly, you're going to learn how to leverage all those wonderful things about you so that we're moving in the same direction. You see how all these arrows are in this picture and how confident this person is? You know, prior to this program, most people feel this stuckness that you're feeling. Imagine all those arrows pointing at each other and in different directions. That's what's happening, right? You got all this energy bouncing around, but it's not going in the direction that you want it to. So we start with alignment and then we activate everything with my high performance systems. And then the third phase, the last 4 weeks, this is 12 weeks in total. The last 4 weeks is acceleration. I'm going to teach you advanced high performance techniques that the best of the best use. You are going to be unstoppable by the time you're done with this. I just want to share a couple testimonials with you real quick. This is Steph. Steph went through my program last year. I met Steph on the first day that she launched her business. All she knew is that she had a passion as a raw vegan chef to create her own cheese from macadamia nuts. And boy, is this like the most fabulous product that I've ever tasted. It is so good. I had no idea vegan cheese could be this good. You know what? But when I met Steph, she was physically sick with an autoimmune disease. She was emotionally drained. She was running purely on hope. She had a dream and no roadmap. She was a former stay-at-home mom who lost herself and her sense of identity. I knew I was meant for more. I just didn't know how to get there. The day I met Kristy, something in me whispered, this is the person who will help me turn my lights back on. And I was right. I joined Unleashed off of gut instinct, no sales pitch, just energy, and it changed everything. I came in thinking I was broken. I left realizing I was never broken. I was blocked. What Kristy did was unearth the version of me I buried for years. She gave me structure when I had none, clarity when I was lost, and community when I felt alone. I used to think that I had to heal before I could run my business. Unleash showed me that I could heal and build my business at the same time. And I believe that no matter where you are, we're remodeling this plane while it's in the air. We're not stopping. Life goes on. So we're doing all of this. We're not stopping to go sit on a couch for 2 years. We're doing everything at the same time because you're not broken. In just 2 years, Steph went from zero revenue and zero confidence to running and growing a plant-based food company that is grossing $10,000 a month in 2 years. No business experience, right? She was a stay-at-home mom who was stuck in bed and on her couch for over a decade. Unleash gave me the tools to quiet the inner critic and trust my gut. I no longer wait for the perfect time. I make the time. I take the risks. I show up even on the hard days because I know who I am now. And that woman, she's unstoppable. If you feel even the smallest tug in your gut to say yes, say yes. I didn't fully understand what I was walking into, and I'm glad I didn't. Because what happened inside Unleashed is something you can't fully explain. You just have to experience it. Once you do, you'll never be the same, and you won't want to be. So if this has resonated with you at all, I would encourage you to reach out and have a conversation. I offer one-on-one coaching. The next Group Unleash program starts on May 14th. I would love the opportunity to share a little bit more about it with you and see if it's a good fit. It may be, it may not be. It's an investment in your future. It's a great group of people. I vet this out. I've had, pharmacists. I've had VPs from banks. I've had stay-at-home moms. I've had people that want to leave corporate America. I've had entrepreneurs that have hit roadblocks in their own success and want to reach for higher and higher and higher. No matter where you are, this is a foundational system. You'll have access to this for a lifetime. You'll be able to come back anytime that you need to, and it will help you unleash your full potential. We have no idea how much time we have left. I hope that I hear from you. You can reach out at Kristy@KristyKuhl.com, and I'll send you a link to book on my calendar, or you can send me a DM or send a message here in the comments. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to serve you today. I hope you all have a wonderful day.